I believe God had given me the ability to carry children, and I wanted to share that gift. But I had to wonder if I was truly meant for this, why was it so hard to get started? Before I leaped, I wanted to be sure I was doing the right thing in God's eyes. I wrestled with it, prayed, and even asked my pastor, who was very supportive. Eventually, I landed on this. Jesus said, "Greater love is no one than this, to lay down one's life for one's friends." While I wasn't giving my life, I was giving a part of myself to bring life into this world. This might be the most Jesus like thing I've ever done. That's Gail's story from our devotional Call to Carry, and it captures something so powerful about the intersection of faith, calling, and creation. Gail's story reminds me so much of another woman whose faith has shaped how we see family. Her name is Pamela Brantley Dunnings, a theologian, an attorney, a cancer survivor, and a mom of 3, all born through surrogacy. After being diagnosed with cancer at just 30 years old, Pamela froze embryos before starting treatment, knowing that one day God would still make her a mother. When pregnancy wasn't possible, she turned to surrogacy. And here's what's remarkable. She never saw science as replacing God. She saw it as one of the ways that God moves. Pamela says that faith and science don't compete. They cooperate because the same God who gave us prayer also gave us possibility.
But our hope, it's based on both, the wisdom of, our reproductive medical professionals, the tremendous scientific advances that are happening every day, and for Christians and people of faith, the goodness and love of our God, right? That is where our hope comes from both science and faith.
For everyone who's wrestling with questions like, is this God's will? Am I allowed to want this? Can faith and fertility really coexist? Both Gail and Pamela remind us that God's miracles often come through people, through medicine, through courage, through women who answer the call to help create life. Because love in its purest form gives of itself. And whether that looks like carrying a child, becoming a parent through surrogacy, or walking alongside someone who is, it's all part of God's creative work. So if you're discerning your next step, if you're praying about what family might look like for you, take heart in this. Faith and science were never meant to be enemies. They were meant to work together, to build, to heal, and to bring love into this world. If this message speaks to you, if you're in a season of discernment, wondering what God might be calling you and maybe to carry, I'd invite you to explore our devotional Called to Carry. It's a 14-day journey of prayer, reflection, written for those navigating faith, family, and fertility, and for anyone learning to see God's hand in unexpected places. You can request your copy at createahappyfamily.com. Because when we share these stories, we remember faith and science were never meant to stand apart. They were meant to work together to create love, hope, and life.